Now, guys, you know, I typically don't agree with Blue Blood. I typically don't agree with this dude when it comes to like his opinions of boxing. Typically because he's biased and stuff, and a lot of times it's obvious that he's like chooses a side. But when it comes to like this video, he uploaded this video where he's talking about Teofimo Lopez responding to Vasyl Lomachenko because Vasyl Lomachenko claimed that he was robbed in the fight, and I actually agree. For the first time in a long time, I agree with the things that Blue Blood Sports TV had to say in this video. Because, first of all, Vasyl Lomachenko is going around claiming that he was robbed. Yes, he was robbed against Teofimo Lopez. Now, anyone who saw this fight, and I've been saying this in the last two videos that I've covered about this fight, anyone who saw this fight, if you are knowledgeable in when it comes to boxing and scoring boxing and just know what you're looking at, you will clearly see that Vasyl Lomachenko lost this fight. Like, there's no way you could look at this fight and say this is a robbery. This is a straight up robbery, and Vasyl Lomachenko clearly won, and they just robbed him, and Teofimo Lopez got a gift decision. There's no way you could do that. Those first 7 rounds were extremely crucial, right? Those first 7 rounds where Teofimo Lopez basically neutralized Vasyl Lomachenko and had him gun shy, because Vasyl Lomachenko was gun shy, extremely gun shy in this fight. Those 6 rounds, he was gun shy. He did not want to. What he had to do was he had to go on the inside against Lopez, and he had to let his hands go. He had to let his combinations go. But he was so gun shy because he felt Lopez's power shots. Lopez was throwing really good body shots, and he was hurting Lomachenko. And Lomachenko didn't want to take the risk. That's why he gave away those first 6 rounds. He waited until, I guess, Lopez tired or something. But those first 6 to 7 rounds were very crucial because those first 6 to 7 rounds, Teofimo Lopez won those 6 and 7 rounds. He was outboxing. The bottom line is, those first 7 rounds, no matter which way you slice it, those first 7 rounds, it was clearly Teofimo Lopez's rounds, right? He clearly won those first 7 rounds because Lomachenko was not willing enough to engage. He was afraid to, I guess, get hurt. He was afraid of, he was very respectful to Teofimo Lopez's power. Specifically, his body shots were hurting him. It wasn't until around 8, 9, 10, 11 where he finally started picking it up and he was scoring points. But by then it was too late. So there's no way that Vasyl Lomachenko or his fans could look at that fight and say, oh, it's a robbery. Because the only way a fight is a robbery is if the guy won several, more rounds than his opponent. If Vasyl Lomachenko won like 10 rounds in a row and then you only gave Lopez like 2 rounds and then he lost, then you could be like, oh man, this guy got robbed. This is a robbery. But you can't claim this is a robbery if the guy loses the first 7 rounds and then wins like 4 rounds in the second half of the fight. Like what's his name? Like Blue Blood said in this video, the closest you might argue is a draw, but I personally don't think it was a draw. I think that if you clearly saw this with good vision, it was a clear victory. Because like I said, in order to be a draw, that means like one guy has to win 6 rounds, the other guy has to win 6 rounds. I saw this fight 3 times already. Lopez won more rounds than Vasyl Lomachenko. I told you, I only gave Vasyl Lomachenko 4 rounds. So I gave Lopez 8 rounds out of 12. So there's just no way. And like I said, like this guy said in this video, look at the body language. This is very important. Look at the body language of Vasyl Lomachenko and his team when they were announcing, when they were reading the scorecards and they were announcing who's going to win. Look at how defeated he looked. He had the face of a guy that knew he did not win that fight. He had like this very, I lost this fight type of look. in my opinion. You could just see it. He looked defeated. He looked like he knew he lost. Normally, when the fight is done, look at Vasyl Lomachenko. He normally looks very confident. He's smiling. He knows he won. But this was the first time I've ever seen Vasyl Lomachenko with a face of like, I'm not sure. Like, he looked like he was not confident that he won that fight. So that's how I know 100% that he knew that he probably lost that fight. And I think even his fans knew that he basically lost that fight. And personally, I don't want to watch a rematch. I honestly don't want to watch a rematch just because I already saw the fight. I know what happens. Vasyl Lomachenko is going to do the same thing. He's going to be too respectful for Lopez for the first half of that fight because he is afraid of the power. And to be honest, I would rather see him fight Devin Haney. I just want to see him fight Devin Haney so then we could have Undisputed at lightweight. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's better for boxing, you know. Vasyl Lomachenko could move down to 135 to 130 and dominate there. You know, he's still only 32 years old. You know, maybe he could have a rematch with Gary Russell Jr. Does Gary Russell Jr. fight at 130? I don't know. But yeah, I really don't want to see a rematch, and I think it's ridiculous that Vasyl Lomachenko and his fans are claiming that he was robbed. Are you blind? See that fight again. He clearly lost that fight.